Howdy doody. My name's Sith Holocron from Dongers of Runeterra, European sort of based Legends of Runeterra group, all over the continent of the old continent. So from as far west as Ireland, where I'm from, as far east as almost the Baltics. We're doing really well. So I really do like to enjoy building new decks, and I think I might have come up with that quite a good one. Um, this is kind of off meta because, as we all know, like the Trundle Trundle and the new Israel deck, and you know, Go Hard TF, all that sort of stuff. Those are the main sort of decks in the meta at the minute. So we need something that can stop that ridiculous smashing stuff coming in, and I've decided to put Katarina back in because I've always liked Katarina. I really have. I think she's kind of cool. So I've went Katarina and Ash go really well together. You can put Katarina down for 3. As soon as she strikes once, she goes back into hands, gets recalled. Is quite good with Yasuo as well. That was a very early deck in the game. But I like not having, say, Drave and Katarina because they're both on 3, or Ash and Braum because they're both on 4, or any of these in any combination, because then you got to decide which one that you're playing and depending on the deck that you're playing, etc. But this is, you can play on 3 and play on 4. You can play both of them out on curve. Turn 5, you can almost drop Katarina down because once she has leveled up, you rally straight away, which is one of my most favorite things. And you don't often get rally outside of Demacia. You get Lucian, you get the Pursuit 3 spell. So there's a lot going on. So this deck is Noxus, only 9 Noxus cards though. Quite a few Freljord. Because I think kind of the protection and the buffs and the freeze and all that sort of stuff makes this a really interesting deck to play. Because people aren't going to see it coming. Nobody really expects Katarina. And the first time that she rallies, you're going to go, oh hell. And you're probably going to lose if you come up against this quite quickly. So let's hit Sith Holocron's favorite button. 18 spells, which is slightly more than the 16 I like to go for, but there's a reason why we've went 2 more. And that is because we have got... where is it? The Starlit Seer, but we will get there later. Okay, so 22 units, including the 2 champions, which is Ash. I was thinking of kind of doing something with Anivia and Katarina, but very fast, very slow. Ash can ruin games, and if you're running enough freeze, then you can actually go to town completely, because you only need to frostbite 5 times. So let's do this and see what we've got. We're starting off with Elixir of Iron as a 2 of. Give an ally +2 health this round, cost 1. And the ubiquitous Omen Hawk as a 3 of, because who doesn't want +1/+1 stat line on the next 2 characters in your deck, which is kind of good because that's allies. So, Katarina can come out as a 4/3, Ash can come out as a 6/4, and then they'll increase again once they level. Frostbite is a massive thing, so pretty much there it is. Set of units power to 0 after this round. It can be changed after, and we have several little tricks and lovely characters in here that are able to do that. And the first one that we have got is the Icefield Archer. We're running 3 of these just like the Hawk, and play you frostbite an enemy of your choice. That is excellent for lots of reasons, especially if they've put something huge down and you can just frostbite it. And to normally frostbite something, you would have to use a flash freeze, which costs 3. This is getting a 3/1. It's getting a chomp blocker and stopping potential damage into your Nexus, which is kind of good. So the reason we're running 18 spells is because we've got the Starlit Seer. Now, we're only running 2 of these because in any Freljord deck I've ever run before, I always run 3 of. but I often felt that it was getting like you only need the one, and it's not uber critical. But the fact that this gives you the Omen Hawk buff to the top card +1/+1, and we have a lot of little spells that later on you're going to be dropping out like things that are huge in size. If you've managed to put down an Omen Hawk and say do a couple of spells after, but once you're in the mid game, you'd be able to put out like eight like Hearthstones, which are just ridiculous, like absolutely just ridiculous. So yeah, every time you cast a spell, grant the top ally in your deck +1/+1. As I say, we are only running 2, but that is actually enough. We've got Troll Chant in here, which I think is a great card. I actually really like this card a great deal. The fact that you can buff your health by 2 and stop an attacking person, say with 2 health, who's going to kill your guy. Now all of a sudden you can stay alive and kill him back is brilliant. It can also stop damage going from another character who you don't have enough units to block with, etc., etc. And we do have enough units to block with, to be fair. But we've also got an awful lot of little tricks to keep things alive, and their attack formations rather blunted, and that's a good thing, right? I think that's a good thing. Culling Strike is just a great 3-cost spell. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. Kill a unit with 3 or less power. Okay, dead, not dead, but dead, not dead, not dead. These are all champions, and everything else like dead. You're seeing where we get here, right? Dead, not dead, dead. So you can see where we're going for with this. So that's pretty much where we are. Culling Strike, fantastic, really, really good. And if you've already got to start the Seer out, we don't really have an awful lot of early doors units. It's really only the Hawk and the Archer and the Seer. So I mean, we've got 8, so it's not too bad. But the top end of this is 6. So it's a very low cost mana deck, allowing you to play a unit and a spell almost every round. Starlet Seer is fantastic. It just is. Get it out and then forget about it, because even if it buffs twice, it's paid for itself. That's the way I look at it. Flash Freeze. So pretty much like your Icefield Archer, this just frostbites an enemy. So we have a reduction there to probably make it 0 anyway. That to make it 0 anyway, but you can't really do an awful lot. That you can wait until, well, at any time you like. It's burst, it can't be stopped, and they're just frostbitten. So we're building up a lot of stuff for the Ash level up. Okay. And then obviously we've got our Katarina. She's a quick attack, 3/2 for 3 mana. You get a Fleeting Blade's Edge, which is deal 1 to anything. And if you draw another one, you get Death Lotus, which is deal 1 to all battling units. And then you put that Katarina back in the deck. This card is just amazing with the amount of freeze that we have got going on in this deck. And it is excellent. I genuinely think this card is fantastic. We have so many ways to make people do 0 power. A leveled Ash, even before leveling, will frostbite the strongest enemy, which makes it 0. Flash Freeze, Troll Chant, Icefield Archer. We've got all these things that will help us, because if he strikes a unit and he's challenger, phenomenal when you're attacking. So attack with an Ash, attack with a Rhyme-Fang Wolf. You're doing so well, right? So there's an awful lot of interconnected, lovely things in this deck that just works really, really smoothly. And you're not forcing it; it just happens, which is even better. One of the MVPs of the deck for sure. Now, this was the last card I put in, so I'm going to come back to that. That is so meta dependent, Scorched Earth. I don't know if it's worth it. Might be worth it as a one of or a two of. It's fantastic to get rid of a landmark, kill any damaged unit, doesn't matter what health it's got, it's just gone. It's excellent. But there are other cards. In fact, let's just talk about it. We can kill, as it says right there, a damaged unit or destroy a landmark, which if you're up against a Soraka heal deck, brilliant, that gets rid of that 2 cost thing and they're having to start their 22 again, which essentially just ruins their entire win condition, because that is the win condition. If you're up against the Vault, that's fantastic because it costs 7. That's pretty nasty. And the one that kills your unit from Shadow Isles to bring you the next one, well, that's stopping all their Rekindler shenanigan stuff and puts them at least a turn behind. So it is a good card. But it costs 3, and as you can see, we've got a lot of 3s in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we started at 2, then we went to 4, then we're here. Okay. There are other cards that are equally good. Really equally good. One of which is Ravenous Flock, that I'm sure you're aware of from any Swain deck. But this card's fantastic. Really cheap. You grant allies +2 power. Now that's really good, because now Katarina's doing 5. Aisha's doing 7. Rimefang Wolf now is a 5/2. Yeah, that's a consideration, completely a consideration. As is Caught in the Cold, which is given enemy Frostbite and Vulnerable this round, and these are much, much cheaper to go down into here. Possibly you could go 1 Scorched Earth, 1 Caught in the Cold, 1 Brothers Bond, see what works well in your meta, depending if you're in North America or Europe or Southeast Asia or wherever it happens to be. If people aren't using Scorched Earth, Caught in the Cold, giving enemy Frostbite, and actually doing a lot, making things vulnerable, etc. And don't forget that we've got Flock in there as well. So, for instance, you could run like 2 of these and 2 of these and drop down to 1 Rime-Tusk Shaman. But I don't particularly want to be doing that, to be honest. So, this deck buffs a great deal. These are just things off the top of my head that we can actually do here. I play in a meta where there are a lot of landmarks, and I love being able to kill huge, big, massive champions that have been buffed to the blue blazes, especially if people are playing Field the Rush and all of a sudden now they're 10-10. Well, then we can maybe block 1 or hit it with something, or, as long as you're doing damage to it. I mean, we're not hitting it with Mystic Shots or Thermal Beams or anything like that. Culling Strike doesn't do anything there. We don't have anything really that's doing direct damage spell-wise, apart from Avalanche. So Scorched Earth is your meta choice. Lots of landmarks, or you're playing against a predominantly big, like, beefy, Freljordy, Noxus, huge big things. Scorched Earth is a good one. Other than that, I would maybe probably go for Caught in the Cold or Ravenous Flock, but you need to have damaged something. That's pretty good. You can vulnerable it. So there are ways and means. You could swap these 3 for 3 of these, or 3 of those, or whatever. All equally as good. Ash, obviously, once you've frostbitten 5 times, hence why that card is so good, because it's another Frostbite. Ash is a 3 of. As she creates a crystal arrow on the top of her deck, frostbite an enemy and all other enemies with 3 or less health, and you draw a card. That's fantastic for 2. You get another one in hand. She's got Flesh Freeze again, so there's frostbiting an enemy. We're doing pretty good here. We're doing pretty good for doing things off. But If for some mad, incredible reason you get an Ash, an Avalanche, a Hearthguard, and a Harsh Winds, and then another Avalanche, yeah, just probably against most decks, especially aggro, uh, even combo decks, dealing 2D all units when you don't have any unit on the board is fantastic. But in this deck, not worth a 3 of. Avalanche is the one that will do stuff to your units. There are only 2s really from down on in here, apart from the Rime-Tusk Shaman. But we'll keep going. Avalanche, brilliant early doors. You can play this in round 3. It's easy peasy. Because, and then say, for instance, you get a Starlit Seer as well. To be fair, if you're playing something that's going to be playing a lot of 1 or 2 cost units, you maybe just let it go through. Put this the Seer down. She's 2/3, so she would stay there, and that'd be quite cool, really. And then the top ally on your deck is a 1/1. Avazarian Hearthguard. He's a 5/5, cost 5. Every ally in your deck has now got the Omen Hawk bonus, which is phenomenal. And Rime-Tusk Shaman we are running 3 of, because once you get 2 of these out, the game's finished. Especially when you're getting the Rime-Fang Wolf to be able to challenge them on each attack. You get 2 of those, you're killing champions left, right, and center. Hence the reason why I've actually went for the Scorched Earth. I'm more concerned about landmarks than I am about units. We're not too bad at all, really. And the best thing about the Rime-Tusk Shaman is that on defense, that stops those guys going out, especially if you've got something that will absolutely kill them, like an Ash or a Katarina. And don't forget about Katarina's recall. She goes back into your hand the first time she plays her. And if you've got the money, don't forget to do that 1 damage to anything. I have played it just with 4 left. Done that, I only had 1 to go, and I did it into the Nexus and won the game. So it's a good way to finish it. Also brilliant to rally if you've got a decent board state out. We're not running Yetis in here. We're not doing anything like that whatsoever. She can be just absolutely wonderful. And then 2 Harsh Winds to finish it off. Again, just to frostbite 2 more enemies. And that is, you play this card once and you're almost halfway there. You're 40% of your way of getting the lovely Ash leveled up. So I really like this deck. I've now tested it in 5 games in normal and won all 5. One was incredibly close against this new Darius Overwhelm thing that is kind of reminiscent of Darrowing, but not quite. But still a really good deck. I've got a version of it that's slightly different than ones that you'll see on certain websites. So I will save this and I will share this to this, because this is kind of cool. And we will copy that to the clipboard. And that is the end of my Donger deck discussion for today. It's about 18 minutes long. Hope you enjoyed it. Deck code and all the links to our social medias and our Discord, etc. in the pinned comments. Thanks very much for watching, and until the next one, take care, take it easy. Donger's out.